Welcome to the AdHero Podcast, your fellow AdHeroes every Friday here on Anchor.fm. My name is Geno, Giovanni.
Got Matthew Olivieri in the house.
And we got a great show for you today. Today, we are actually featuring Shobeir Shobeiri from Mintegral, and hopefully I pronounced that right. He is a Senior Director of Business and Development. Say what's up, man.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you for having me to the show.
And thank you for accepting on. You know, we actually go back, all three of us, to our alma mater of San Jose State.
Go Spartans!
That's right. Yeah.
Spartans. No, this is gonna be a great. This is gonna be a great show. We got a lot of people are like excited about mobile gaming and the mobile gaming universe. So we're gonna get into that today. But we got a few other things to go over too. That's right. Correct?
That's right. So we're gonna go into the A block right now. And there's just a few things, a few interesting things I thought I'd throw into the A block where, like, Marvel Studios, they're going ahead with all the rest of their movies and shows on time. So, they had to, because of the COVID-19, had to pull back on the Black Widow movie that was supposed to already be out, but then that's got pulled back all the way to November. And but the rest of their schedule is supposed to be on time and keeping with what they said that they were going to do.
Yeah, we kind of touched upon that the last episode, right? We talked about a lot of the streaming services. COVID-19 shut productions down across the world. Disney Plus kind of hit on that a little bit. So is this an update to that update?
It is actually.
Okay,
yeah, because the last time it was more like, okay, like we're still in production or we're going to do like productions, but now it's like we're going to be coming out on the times that we said that we're going to come out with all the other shows.
All right, well, let me just jump right in because we got Shobeir here, and let me just ask him, Shobes, are you guys seeing anything from the gaming universe? Delays in production of games, big game titles, something to that effect?
I mean, that's an interesting question. With regards to the gaming space, I haven't heard of any major delays. For the past few years, most folks have been working on a hybrid effect of from office and home. So because of that, most of this is actually pretty timely, especially in mobile. You could actually create a mobile game from your home and just collaborate through, one of the instant messengers like Slack, DingTalk in China. So most of the games I've seen on mobile are still on track, even during the lockdowns and isolation period.
Well, we always like to use this first kind of 10, 15 minutes of the show to just kind of talk about pop culture, talk about things kind of happening in the universe. And, since COVID-19 has hit, just everybody is still getting very much adjusted to this new way of life, right? Working from home, as you mentioned, delays in things, projects, big film releases, anything done. So that's kind of encouraging to hear that in your industry, the mobile gaming universe, those delays are not as prevalent. Those aren't clicking as much. So that's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time in general. I mean, overall, two things. One is talking about streaming services you guys are talking about. In the last few years, the streaming services have just like become a boom, content boom. $20 billion spent by Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple, Facebook. So if you're creating content, they're all considering, to potentially distribute and or publish under their brands. And it skews, obviously. Netflix is definitely potentially the driver, majority of which. But yeah, that's on the streaming side. As far as I feel like there's definitely a mass disconnect you could see with traditional businesses in America and the world and those who have some sort of tech orientation. I gave a great example is I have friends in the culinary world, and those who could figure out ways to sustain themselves have done probably two things that are really prevalent. The first is just delivery, just sustain themselves on one of their paths to making money through an Uber Eats, DoorDash, Caviars of the world. The other has been using, these crowdfunding campaigns like GoFundMe, right, to support them. The third is really through nonprofits to support them and feeding a lot of the homeless, which has been really nice. But that's just like one example of a more of a, retail-based business that, if they had no connection whatsoever to tech, you would definitely be, sadly seeing a lot of these restaurants shutting down, right? But as far as like, at least in my industry, again, in mobile, it's been the complete opposite. I say we are one of the only few verticals have done exceptionally well. Content in general has done very well. I mean, everybody is looking to be entertained regardless of the market situations. If the internet works, you're going to be entertained by content. And, you're talking about Hollywood and all this. I think the future is short snippets of content, really. Instead of like people sitting down for 30 to several hours, look at the kids in high school, middle school right now. They're watching 10-second videos to, a few minutes long by TikTok, by their favorite TikTok artist, probably Snapchat stories, possibly Instagram, right? So these are really, it's not, I don't think it's like the full type of platform of content, but it's definitely one of the ways the future, and the future is really now with this type of content, nuggets, watching things in nuggets over time versus all at once. When we grew up, we would watch video games, play video games, and like your parents say, that's enough, right? Football game that weekend, it's even though technically it was 3 to 4 hours, you put your whole Sunday to that game to watch it. Now, the best type of content you can watch whenever you post. Yeah, so mobile has, like I said to you guys, we've been very fortunate. The two markets that have done quite well, or three really, but the two I know of is the gaming. So to give you some context, first, China had an 80% increase of gaming usage during the month of February around the Chinese New Year that they were locked down. And since the US has been in lockdown, for example, very similar data, the CEO of Verizon said he saw an uptake of 75% game usage in his network. And then as far as another vertical, health and fitness has become $100 billion market overnight on digital. And now products like Peloton, Strava, Under Armour, and others have now grown over 200%. Peloton said they grew over 245% since the lockdown. That is massive uptake. That's like the Silicon Valley dream of that hockey stick that investors get really excited to see, right? And I could send you the link for you guys to see the article from Aptopia where they show this uptake from all four of these kind of major health and fitness products.
Yeah, I've heard of people training on a Zoom call.
Yeah, there's the Zoom community, and there's even startups that help you connect to like an instructor, and it becomes a subscription, and actually have you connect to that instructor and work out. So if you can't do it by yourself and you don't have, the capability or know-how, they'll connect you to it. But yeah, man, Zoom is a phenomenon. It went from 10 to 20 million, signups to 300 million in the last 2 months alone. They have become that household name that everybody dreams about when you start a company. Right. So what has happened also overall in tech is, especially I'd say since COVID, is the more and more household names of the products that are essentially needed in your business, you're going to double down and buy it. So like Zoom is like a good example. If you think of one product you want to do video, it's Zoom now. Google just brought their competitor app to another level. House Party's trying. So everybody will try to follow. The same thing with like signups. You got DocuSign is probably the top provider for you and your company to do all the contract signups. Then there's like HelloSign that's part of Dropbox. There's Adobe. But again, it's like that first product that everybody dreams to start a company, and that's the one. And it, if you're working from home, a lot of these products are definitely going to be the household name now.
Let me just backtrack here a quick second for our listeners who might have not fully comprehended like the whole scope of you and your background and all that good jazz. Again, we're just barely into season 2 here. All right. So cut us a break. All right. We're going to get better at this, but let's.
Sure.
And I want to bring this up because I want people to be able to reach out and connect with you, right? Every time we have a guest on the show, we really like to try to make it accessible so our listening audience can actually connect, find you on LinkedIn or wherever, and actually reach out and learn more about what you do. And coincidentally enough, your industry, we can get to this in a second, not only did it kind of be pandemic, I guess, bulletproof, so to speak. I don't know, kind of like it's actually maybe benefited from the pandemic, it sounds like. So I want to hear more about your thoughts on that, and I'll just tease you with that question. But go ahead, give the listening audience your full name, how long you've been doing this, your title, the whole bit. Go for it.
Okay. So I'm Shobeir Shobeiri. I'm Senior Business Director at Mintegral. Mintegral is a 7-year-old mobile advertisement company. What we do is basically serve ads for folks who've created applications on mobile as a business stream for them. If they have a free application, and if you have a mobile app, there's several ways to make money. You could do it paid, which is very difficult in these days to have an app and convince someone from ahead of time to purchase. You could do subscription, which is more of the products you see, like the wellness products like Headspace and Calm, where you get intrigued to try it out for a while. And if it's nice enough, you're like, you know what, I'll pay like a $10 subscription, similar to streaming music like Spotify and Pandora do too. Dating apps like Bumble and Tinder and all them as well. That's the second one. The third one, I would say, is really free with in-apps. In-apps are products that you want to buy within, and usually that is, if you're playing a game, it could be like, oh, you've died or you lost this poker match and your money, you need to buy back. It's easy. Here's $2.99. You get $250,000 to play back in this poker game.
Gotcha.
The last but not least is you have free, and you offer free, and you basically run ads. And there's about 4 or 5 types of ad units around on mobile. You have seen right now, the top ones are videos. So there is reward video. If you're playing a game, you can watch a reward, get incentivized to play more of that game on a day-to-day basis. There's interstitial, which is basically a full screen ad that pops up, let's say, in between the gameplay or afterwards, after a level, for example. And then there's the typical banner that are static. They're placed, say, in the bottom or top. And then there is a playable, which is very unique, which allows you to play a game within a game. So it doesn't feel like you're being intrusive on serving that ad unit. And it's very, very interactive with the consumer because it's one-to-one. I'm playing a game, you're playing a game. I'm okay with this ad unit. And I think the last unit is called native, which basically means if you guys want to create your own ad unit and fit to scale to what you want, you could still serve that, but not many networks can do that. So that's kind of the basic nugget. So what I tell people, let's say before COVID, I would get an Uber and just say, hey, what do you do, man? I'm like, you know that game you're playing and you paid it for free, and I'm showing that ad that interrupts. That's us. That's what we do. That's kind of on a high level, jokingly, but in reality, it's a massive market. There's last year alone about $200 billion was in mobile advertising.
Yeah, I saw that.
Out of that, 120 billion was in the US, and out of that, overall 200 billion, 70 billion are in-app advertising. So we're mostly in that nugget of the in-app advertising space, which there's about, like, let's say 12 good ad networks in mobile, with the likes of Google, which is AdMob by Google, Facebook's Audience Network by Facebook, probably the likes of the mediators like MoPub by Twitter, IronSource, AppLovin, Unity, the game engine that has an ad network on mobile, Vungle, AdColony, and then there's ourselves like Mintegral that are playing in this space.
So who has a bigger market share, US or China?
So an overall market share is generally US. However, the Chinese gap has shrunk tremendously. So, let's say the US, out of 300 million people, mostly, are on these devices, almost 100%, let's just say, hypothetically. Still nowhere near China. Has 750 to 800 million smartphones that are out there. Yeah. And of that, which, their middle class are pretty much on par with the U.S. middle class, which is almost the double amount that we have here in population. So their middle class is about 300 million, almost the population we have here. And their spending power is probably almost like us, if not right under us. So what is a good example of this is, like, if you're playing a mobile game, the overall market of gaming is now $150 billion. So that's including consoles, laptops. In mobile, it's It's about 77 billion. And and China is about 25 to 30 billion of that.
So there's more. So then, wait, are there more gamers in China or in the United States?
So there are more overall gamers in China. That's correct. Per revenue per person, it might be more in the U.S. Actually, it is more in the U.S. But when it comes to the population-wise, yeah, China surpassed about a year or two ago as the most as the number one gaming market in the world. It surpassed the U.S. and Japan.
So let me get back to that teaser question I gave you there. So
yeah,
you know, as tragic as this virus and this pandemic has been for so many people, in a weird, bizarre way, internally, times could not be better for Mintegral, was what I'm understanding. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
So it seems like me.
Yeah, I mean, there's this cliche that certain industries can be recession proof. Forget even like COVID, right? I mean, we've had technically a massive dynamic shift in the markets because of it, right? And people, like I said before, this is one of the decisions I was interested in when the industry started, is the fact that everybody loves content. Like we're human beings, we want to be entertained regardless of the situation. It's a lot more obviously now when you're sheltering yourself inside. And you have the capability to play things on demand. And as far as Mintegral, yes, we've been very fortunate to see that. And we grew 7x last year. So that was a big growth last year, which has had us to work with a lot of studios now. So we've piggybacked this hyper casual boom. Hyper casual games that are like maybe 10 seconds to a minute long. You probably see them up the charts. We are now working with a lot of the major unicorn companies and about to work with publicly traded companies in mobile that have really good IP. Speaking of the Marvel, some of them work with Disney and Marvel. Some of them have their own in-house products, like a Fruit Ninja that's been around for 10 years with over 1 billion installs. So these companies, take some time to convince, work a business plan, and be part of their long-term planning in part of that basically their ad stack.
You guys working with Quibi? Am I saying that correctly?
Quibi, not yet. From my understanding, I don't think we have yet. We'd love to. They definitely have spent a lot of marketing dollars on every channel possible. Quibi is an interesting product because they're testing two things. They're kind of going into that, I was saying earlier, the short content space where the user generated products like TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram are focused on, but they have high quality content, Hollywood based content like Reno 911. They have the exclusive rights now, and it's very unique. They have this product where you could look at it either on a horizontal like landscape and vertical kind of outlook, and they both have their own experiences in their short form. So they surpassed 1 million installs. I think it's very fascinating to have people who have Hollywood pedigree and Silicon Valley pedigree, Meg Whitman, and so forth. So, but I don't know what the long-term perception will be there. Like you said, I don't know actually what will happen because of the Hollywood content producers, how creative they're going to be. And they have to move out. A lot of the content that's being produced in the last several years from my peers have done it outside of even LA because it's cost effective to do in Utah. They don't have like the labor unions in Utah. They could do it in Vancouver. It's still on the West Coast. It's cost effective there. They could do it in
Georgia.
A lot of reality shows, and like the Walking Dead was in Georgia.
When you're scouting out who you want to work with, how do you qualify them? So if like you're going for Quibi or you're going for Disney, like, I mean, obviously Disney, I mean, that's like a no brainer, but if there's something else that's on like lower on the totem pole, how would you qualify them?
Yeah, that's a good, simple question. Basically, if you have generally a sustainable user base, it could be a large one, like you said, Disney, for example. Let's just like use that as a simple one. To a middle small shop studio, probably like a 2 to 10 person team who have a sustainable game that makes them maybe in the 6 figure range each day. If those are type of companies. So what does that mean? Meaning like if they have hundreds of thousands of users, millions of users, and they're active and it's free, that's what I'm looking for. And the way they're, again, like a lot of their business is predicated on probably two things right now: in-app purchases and advertising. And a lot of the large studios see anywhere from probably 15 to 25% in ads. Again, some of the ones that are hyper casual is almost 100%, but I'm talking about like if you look at the publicly traded companies like Zynga, Glue, and others, they're probably around like the 15 to 25% of their quarterly and annual revenue stream is advertising.
And let's, a large part of our listening audience, Shobes, is like small business owners across the country. We've gotten a lot of feedback from them. They like the show. They like that we try to be relatable to things, in the trenches that they might be dealing with.
Okay.
So let's say that there's a small business owner listening to this episode right now,
Okay.
and, they've dabbled in Google ads. They've dabbled in, maybe a few other things, maybe even some billboard advertising. And now they're like, hey, let's add some mobile ads to this mix as well. What pointers can you give in terms of budget per month or per week, something like that? And maybe some expectations that they should have connected to that budget size. And then where would you best direct them? Like, I'm talking brand new, green, never done this before. Where would you direct them to go? Like Google AdMob because it's so well known, a company like Mintegral because of maybe certain products that you guys have exclusive access to that they can't get anywhere else. What would be your word to that brand new person just trying to jump into this?
I mean, that's a really good question, especially what's going on now. Just for people to really understand and connect themselves to, mobile, it could look very daunting, right? Like you're like, oh my God, where do I start? Where do I begin? I'm so used to, okay, even if they're used to search ads on Google, you still could do that, by the way, mobile search ads, right? You could do that, and it still results both on mobile web and on Google's app. Like that's an example. But I would say, I mean, the easiest thing I would always tell people is like this, like, even if you have $20, you could spend that on, something like candy or a beer for happy hour, or you could spend $20 on testing an ad on Facebook and just see how much that could go within, a short amount of time to an hour. And you could almost allocate all of that to mobile on Facebook. So how does that work? It's almost like stepping backwards. I would suggest, social networks is a good play for small businesses because it allocates to the social graph that is used to advertising for small businesses. If you're trying to target games and it's not relatable, and you're first of all maybe wasting your money. You're not targeting the local consumer if you don't want to, and it could be very expensive for you to spend, say, on ad network to say, I want to target, if you're based in like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you want to target only Tulsa, Oklahoma in a mobile game network, might be pretty pricey versus, again, doing a test on a social network like Facebook. You could test $20, $50, $100, and within 24 hours see the results. And you could go really focused. So why do I say like a Facebook? It's because when you've joined Facebook, you've given a lot of information that allows you to be accepting ads. So, I'm Shobeir. I live in San Francisco. I like my San Francisco 49ers and Golden State Warriors. And I like my, I like my Killers music. I like eating pizza. Okay. Now like a local pizza joint could target me here. It's like, hey, I know you like Golden Boy pizza because you like them, which by the way is really good. But like another competitor of theirs could spend people who like pizza in San Francisco. Here's $20 and test an ad unit, and then
watch
make
the
your
Warriors game when they come back
during the Warriors game. So
right.
You could actually put it at the same time, hypothetically, if the Warriors were playing at that time frame to test it out. And it's like shit.
So what I'm hearing from you then is really the gaming advertising universe sounds like it should almost be reserved for a little bit bigger spenders out there who have a broader message or a more broader kind of product that can go to the masses, so that your network can filter it out to the millions of people who are playing Candy Crush or something like that. And it will make sense if some portion of those people, engage with the ad unit and go to a landing page and, order the thing or do interact the thing. Is that more or less correct?
Yeah, I mean, not to say brands haven't tried advertising on games, but for a small shop, yes. There's the complexity of the algorithms, timing, and yeah, if like the performance, right? Like if the consumer receives that ad unit versus a game-to-game ad unit, it's much more engaging. Unless you're willing to spend a little bit more money to create creatives, which is the nice, either static image or animated or a video or an animated like product to be displayed for that few seconds on mobile. Few seconds meaning anywhere from generally from 10, I'd say 5, 10 to 30 seconds you could display an ad on mobile. That's what your brain can handle on mobile devices. Right? So it's possible, and I've seen people test it out, but it's difficult, and it's going to be difficult to target all these games because no one's really had a success story that I'm aware of to do that. Right? So that's a challenge. There are some people who've done e-commerce products and target things with gamers, certain things like that. But as far as mom and pop shops, I think another angle would be influencers. And I'm not saying like, oh, go to the top influencer and spend like a lot of money because they're going to ask for a lot of money to post something on their social graph, which is like, again, on their Instagram story or Instagram post. No, there are products out there. There are companies, like a couple of friends of mine started this one called Obviously Social, where they do like the long tail. You could find the long tail of like San Francisco based influencers who have a decent amount of following. Could be as little as 10,000 followers and could be as high as like hundreds of thousands. And you don't need to spend so much. And you say, look, again, I want them to eat a pizza and make themselves look good in the picture. And then like, here's the tracking information. They share it with their peers. And it's like, oh, this person I follow, like ate your pizza. I wanted to try it out. Oh, nice. Cool. So I think those are some examples of like, again, just the simple nugget, test a Facebook ad. You'll see results in like 24 to 48 hours. Very simple. You actually could test like different creatives. I would say, again, different images, different products. And then from there you could kind of grow with it.
We're getting close to the end here, but real quick, before we get into the lightning round, just real quick, what do you think the future is for your company and the mobile gaming?
That's a good question. Well, I think we're going to definitely still, again, very fortunate. I think we're going to grow very well this year and in the long term. I think mobile is here to stay. It's been around specifically as a, smartphone devices have been around for over 12 years now. The app stores have been around for 10 to 11 years now. And I think, more and more, everything's going to be ubiquitous in the sense that your device is now going to just get plug and play. So, the laptops are turning into iPads. They're going to turn into your phone, your Apple TV. So I have everything pretty much Apple. You could pretty much connect to that Apple device and your data sets are there. Or same thing with like Google, same thing with Amazon, use the Amazon, Alexa at home to Alexa car, like that type of level. So mobile is definitely going to grow. I mean, there are figures like mobile is going to be, or gaming is going to surpass 200 billion in mobile gaming overall. I don't know where the percentage of that, probably 100 billion in a couple of years, right? That's just insane. So more and more people, I would say if you have, creative side to you and animation and stuff, and you were thinking of potentially going to Hollywood, I would say you have higher likelihood of enjoying what you like doing in the gaming sector. And then especially if you want in mobile games, and you can make it maybe a side hustle if you don't want to do it full time, by doing it on the side, by working remote for people on a platform, like one of these online platforms I'm blanking out right now. But so these are some examples. I'd say, I think Mintegral, we're going to grow pretty well this year, probably another couple X percentages, 2%, 2 to 3X, excuse me. We're going to be more and more into like all the top providers of the gaming studios, which I'm really excited. And we're going to start going to brands. So we're going to be more of a formalized network. And,
let's get into the lightning round. And I know you're really good at that, Matthew. So
yeah. That's a fun little thing we like to do here, kind of wrap up the show on a fun note. And these are just a series of a couple quick questions. They're not even scripted out, and your answers don't have to be either. It's kind of just whatever the first thing that pops into your mind, just shout it out, and it kind of helps, the listening audience get to know Shobeir a little bit on a deeper, more fun level, right?
First thing, like one word or a sentence, or
yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We kind of
all right.
we see how it rolls, right? And we just kind of go with it. So
Sounds
first question I got for you. Scotch or wine?
Parents are gonna hate me. I would say Scotch.
Okay. All right. Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Oh, okay.
No-brainer.
Geno, you want to jump in with one?
Okay. DC or Marvel?
Oh my God, I love my Batman. I'm gonna have to say DC on this one now.
Okay. Good. Don't we like it?
All right. Silicon Valley or Austin, Texas?
I'm a local. I mean, as much as I love Austin, I've been thinking about moving there. I'm a Silicon Valley, San Francisco guy.
Wow, good. Dig that.
All right. How about this? World of Warcraft or Sims?
Ooh, I like Sims. I'd go with Sims on that one for sure.
And maybe just one or two more here. Let's see. Maybe sticking with the game theme here.
Okay.
Call of Duty or Sea of Thieves?
Call of Duty. If you haven't played the mobile game, you're missing out. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Geno, you got one more to wrap it up?
Okay. Let's see this. YouTube or Twitch?
YouTube.
Really? Wow. Okay. We'll end on that note, but I gotta have a little fun dispute with you. I've been getting into Twitch. Geno brought this up on the last episode that I actually went and created a Twitch profile, and that has been my go-to platform of entertainment during COVID, has been Twitch. I have just been inundated with all these different Twitch channels. I didn't know that it was actually deeper than just video games.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the other day, I literally found myself watching somebody who has a Twitch channel. He's a New York City bike messenger, and he strapped up a cell phone to his bike or his helmet or something like that. And he has a map on the corner of his channel that shows Manhattan and where he's riding around. And it's this really cool first person view. It's like you're on the bicycle and he's just going screaming fast down all these side streets in New York in real time. Right. Yeah. And then the people are chatting with him in real time, going like, "Oh shit, watch out for that taxi," and this and that. Like,
who is this? Who's this guy?
I don't know. It's just some random dude that has
is a bike courier.
Yeah, he's a bike courier. Yeah, in New York City, and his channel is literally called, NYC Bike Messenger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and like again, like people, Twitch is well known for the gaming stuff, but I've been discovering all these other channels that exist on Twitch, and I'm telling you, man, like I can't turn it off. I've been so into it. I was like, wow, this is freaking awesome. I love the variety, and I love how I can just jump in, jump out, And I'll tell you, the other funny thing is the chat can be kind of toxic. Okay, just putting that out there for our listening audience. If you don't know about Twitch, it's got a live chat stream that's rolling on the right-hand side while people are either gaming or, in this case, riding a bike, whatever. And yeah, you get a pretty strong mix of different people in that chat stream saying whatever they want. And some of it can be a little bit toxic, a little bit bad, but overall it's positive, I would say. But what makes it engaging is like when something happens to the individual, either playing a game or, in this case, riding a bike, like the chat just like comes alive, and it's like this tidal wave of comments and commentary about what's happening. And then the person will even start interacting with it. Like the bike messenger pulled over and was like responding to people's comments when he would get to a stoplight and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, man. I just think it's like there's something big in the future of entertainment and engagement with a live audience being able to instantly participate in what they're seeing on the screen. And then not only that, being able to get the attention of the actors or the people who are the live humans that are a part of this thing, right? There's something there. And I just feel that they're onto it, and I freaking love it. And do you guys know, does YouTube have like that live in-stream
They do.
thing? But is it only when you're going live?
Only when you're going live.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, again, maybe I just have to jump in there and sample that a little bit more to kind of like figure out what. But
you made a good point about the brand positioning. Twitch has been, technically they, catered and launched as live streaming for esports, for games, right?
yes.
But in reality, the brand is associated with live broadcasting.
Yes.
And on-demand live broadcasting versus
started by Justin Kahn, right? Of Justin TV. He's one of the founders of Twitch.
Yeah, like it's like interesting. They have been like the Twitch, like the Justin TV alumni have created an unbelievable amount of like social cam and Twitch. They're kind of a mini mafia, I call it.
Right.
Guys. But YouTube is more just like on-demand content of all plethora of life,
right?
Of all sorts. So like their library of content is just immense. So it's a little different play on both sides. But yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated to see what's the growth. I think look, streaming is just the beginning here.
Yeah,
like content online is just the beginning here, and it's going to consolidate. I mean, the bigger companies are getting bigger by enabling you to create these type of contents. So,
100%. Well, can't thank you enough for coming on the show, man. We this has been a long time coming, so we're really glad to finally get you on. And
it's a great way to catch up.
Great way to catch up for sure. So we welcome you into the AdHero den. You are now officially an AdHero. You've unlocked that achievement. And
thank you.
What do you say, man? Do you want to take us home?
Okay, sure. Catch us every Friday here on the AdHero Podcast on Anchor.fm. You can also check us out on the Apple Podcast, plus Spotify and Google Play Store. Is that correct?
Yeah, one of those.
We're syndicated like everywhere now. It's pretty good for season 2.
All the social media handles, AdSemble. And Shobes, where can people connect with you?
Sure. It's at my mostly at my first name, @Shobeir on Twitter. So it's or Instagram, wherever. So LinkedIn, I think it's Shobeir.Shobeiri.
Okay, and we'll throw that in the notes so
That's right.
people can reach out and learn more about your company and about you, and just say what's up.
Yep.
This is the AdHero Podcast. My name is Geno Giovanni,
and I'm Matthew Olivieri.
And we'll see you, or we'll have you broadcast with us next Friday, like every Friday, right here on Anchor.fm.
We out.